unwanted Christmas doll. He despised his job. Truly, there was nothing worse than listening to a parade of spoiled kids demand expensive gifts their families couldn't afford. But he couldn't just tell the little brats or their obnoxious parents what he really thought. He needed the paycheck to cover his rent. The loud, jarring Christmas music blared from the mall speakers, grating on his nerves. His Santa suit was hot, and the fake beard itched against his sweaty skin. Exhaustion weighed on him. After a full day at his first job, he now had to sit through this torturous Santa gig until the mall closed at 11. It was Christmas week, and they kept the mall open extra late. He glanced at his coworker, a perky young woman dressed as an elf. She had a big, cheerful smile plastered on her face, but he could see the fatigue in her eyes. She was just as done with this holiday nonsense as he was. "Ready for another round?" she asked, keeping her voice chipper for the kids. "Ready as I'll ever be." He forced a grin and gave her a thumbs up. She led the first child up to the big, gaudy sleigh where he was perched. A little girl in a frilly purple dress clutched a doll close to her chest. Her blonde curls bounced as she skipped over. "Say hello to Santa," the elf encouraged. The girl gave a shy wave. "Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, little one," he said, feeling ridiculous as he tried to sound jolly. "Would you like to sit with Santa?" She nodded eagerly and climbed into his lap. He glanced down at her doll. It was old, really old, and disturbingly dirty. He felt a shiver crawl up his spine. Dolls had always creeped him out, and this one was no exception. It looked like something straight out of a horror movie, with a cracked face and faded eyes that seemed to follow him. "Hi, Santa," the little girl chirped. "Hello, sweetheart. Are you excited for Christmas?" "Oh, yes," she said, bouncing a little. "We made cookies, sang carols, and even put on a play at church about baby Jesus." "Well, that sounds wonderful," he said, trying to keep up his act. "And what would you like for Christmas this year?" She hesitated, fidgeting with her doll. "Actually, Santa, I don't want any presents this year." He blinked, taken aback. "Really? No presents at all?" "Nope," she said firmly. "My family already gets me plenty of gifts. I thought about you instead." "About me?" he repeated, surprised. "Yeah," she nodded. "You give gifts to everyone, but no one gives you anything in return. I wanted to give you something." Before he could react, she pushed the doll into his arms. "This is for you." He stared at the doll, its glassy eyes glinting under the mall lights. It was hideous, with matted hair and a stained dress. "Oh, thank you," he stammered. "That's very kind of you." "She's called Miss Pretty," the girl whispered. "She was my favorite, but she started scaring me. I thought you might want her." Before he could ask anything more, the elf interrupted. "Santa, smile for the camera," she called, waving to get their attention. He forced a smile while the girl beamed. "Say, candy canes," the elf sang out. "Candy canes!" the little girl shouted. He handed her a candy cane from the red bucket next to him. "Merry Christmas," he said. "Merry Christmas, Santa," she chirped, hopping off his lap. The elf guided her back to her parents and she waved goodbye. He watched her leave, then glanced back at the doll. It seemed like its eyes were following him, even as he set it behind the candy bucket. He shuddered and decided he would toss it in the trash as soon as his shift ended. The rest of the night dragged on. He pretended to be Jolly Santa, listening to endless requests for video games, dolls, and toys. He forced himself to smile, but his mind kept drifting back to the creepy doll. When his shift finally ended, he let out a sigh of relief and headed to the break room. The doll was still there, sitting on the table, staring at him with its unblinking eyes. He was buttoning up his coat when he heard it. "Hello? Are you my new friend?" He froze. The voice was small, childlike. He looked around the empty room. It couldn't have been the doll. He grabbed it and shoved it deep into the garbage can. He hurried out to his car, the cold wind biting at his face. He cranked up the heat, trying to shake off the chill that had settled into his bones. He pulled out of the parking lot, singing along to a country song on the radio. Suddenly, a tiny voice came from the back seat. "Why did you throw me away?" He nearly swerved off the road. He glanced in the rearview mirror. There, buckled in the back seat, was the doll. "No way!" he shouted, slamming on the brakes. He pulled into a fast food parking lot, yanked the doll out of the car, and hurled it into the dumpster. He sped away, heart pounding. He must have been hallucinating. He was just overtired. That was all. He got home and slammed the door behind him. He flicked on the lights, ready to collapse on his couch. But there, sitting right in the middle of the couch, was the doll. "What do you want from me?" he shouted. "You threw me away," it said, its voice dark and menacing now. "I thought we were friends." His heart raced as he backed away. "Get away from me!" "We're going to be friends forever," the doll said, standing up on its own tiny legs. It started walking towards him, its glass eyes fixed on his. "Stay back!" he screamed, grabbing a baseball bat from the corner. He swung at the doll, but it dodged easily. "Let's play a game," the doll giggled. "Let's get ready for Christmas together." "No, leave me alone." He swung again, but the doll grabbed the bat with surprising strength and yanked it out of his hands. The doll's tiny hand wrapped around his wrist, and he felt a freezing cold burn through his skin. "I'll make your life a nightmare if you don't play with me," it whispered. He fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "Please just go away." The doll climbed up onto his shoulder, its voice right in his ear. "I'm your new friend, and I'll never leave. Now let's decorate. It's Christmas time." He sobbed, the terror overwhelming him. The doll's laughter echoed through the room as it forced him to hang up Christmas lights, its icy grip never letting go. He knew then that this Christmas would be his last. He wasn't just exhausted. He was trapped, and there was no escape. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next